y'all, this is Laura from Orange Blossom. I'm here to talk to you about paper piecing. First off, there's two types of paper piecing and quilting. There's English paper piecing and there's foundation paper piecing. This video is going to primarily talk about foundation paper piecing, but I'm going to tell you the differences so that you know what you're looking for from here. If you're into English paper piecing, there are small pieces of heavyweight paper like cardstock that the seam allowance is wrapped around and then glued or stitched in place, and then the blocks are stitched together and the paper is removed. Foundation paper piecing is where you sew your pieces to a foundation or a piece of paper. Here, let me show you what I have in the way of supplies. The first thing you're gonna need is a sewing machine. I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory, but that's where we're gonna start. You need a sewing machine, and you need to put a foot on your sewing machine that you can actually see where the needle comes in contact with the paper. So a lot of times that's called an open toe foot, but it needs to work the way a normal foot works, not a free motion foot, a regular foot that you can actually see where the needle meets the fabric. So here are the other supplies you're gonna need. You're gonna need a rotary cutter and a cutting surface like a mat, as well as an ironing surface and an iron. You're going to need a glue stick or a glue pen. This has a little glue in there that you're gonna use. The third thing you're gonna need is thread. This is Invisifil thread, and this is Decker Bob thread. Invisifil is a 100-weight thread, and Decker Bob is an 80-weight thread. So they're a very fine thread, and they are cottonized polyester, which means you can use a hot iron on these and it won't melt the polyester. You are either going to want a silk blend or a cottonized polyester for this application. The next thing you're going to need is one of these rulers here. This is called an add-a-quarter ruler. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the case. It has a beveled edge on one side and a thicker edge on the other side. So this is what the ruler looks like. If you have very small pieces within your foundation paper piecing project, you may need a smaller version of this. Ruler called an add-an-eighth ruler. I just wanted to make sure I reiterated to you that you need to have paper for foundation paper piecing, and the paper that I recommend is to use newsprint that is cut 8.5 by 11 to go into your copy machine. You'll also need some colored pencils if the image you're using is not colored. So do not buy crayons or markers, make sure they are colored pencils. And when you're picking out your pencils, don't get an Inktense pencil or a watercolor pencil. Make sure you get a regular colored pencil, cheaper the better. The last thing you're gonna need for paper piecing, foundation paper piecing, is the pattern. If you go to our website at orangeblossomquilts.com, you will be able to download a free pattern or a series of free patterns for this foundation paper piece project. You can use any pattern you wish. You do not have to take ours, but we would love for you to sew along with us in the next section. Thanks.